Destination Medicine is a collaborative initiative of regional training hubs. With first-hand lessons learned from those who have gone before, this podcast is designed to assist and inspire anyone interested in pursuing a medical career in rural and regional Australia.
Welcome to Destination Medicine. I'm Nicole Goodman. Working in both private and public practice in a critical specialty, ophthalmologist Dr. Jeremy Curtin is living his regional Australian dream. Brought up in a medical family from the bush, he knew his ambitions early. And now, after having spent 6 years in Melbourne training, he's loving his life, bringing up a large family just minutes away from his practice in the city of Orange. His advice for anyone considering medicine is to stick with it, and he's a big advocate of the benefits of ophthalmology as a career choice. Jeremy Curtin starts by explaining to Jeff Waters what his current role entails.
I'm an ophthalmologist, an eye specialist working in regional and rural New South Wales. I'm a specialist in Orange and in Forbes and in Dubbo, which is really the central and the western part of New South Wales, working in the public hospital system there and in private practice as well.
Wow, that's a really beautiful beat. Do you get to see much of the countryside?
A bit, yeah. I probably spend about 20% of my time away from home, I guess. So I've been operating in Forbes today. I drove out there this morning, left about 6:30 and I got home about 5:30 this afternoon. So that's a standard Friday for me out of the office.
When did you first decide to become a doctor?
Well, my father's a doctor and there are other family members who are doctors. So it's always been of interest to me. But I didn't start out initially from high school in medicine. I started out doing something different, but pretty quickly, I guess, I realised I was interested in medicine and turned my focus to that. So it probably happened around, in the later high school years and in the early university years.
What was it that attracted you to ophthalmology?
Well, it's a good question, Jeff. It's not a very well-known specialty, but turns out it's actually a really interesting one because it's a combination of many of the different things that you do along the way. It involves adults and children. It involves patients with issues relating to diseases from across the whole spectrum of medicine. And also it's got a fair bit of surgery in it as well. So it's consulting and treating patients medically, but also quite a lot of operating as well. So it's a very diverse specialty. Every day is a little bit different and you get your chance to consult with patients and get to know them. But then there's also the experience and the opportunity to operate and to intervene surgically, which again provides another challenge and something that you've got to continue to work on throughout your whole career.
Now, I believe a trip to Myanmar or Burma to a remote eye clinic was a turning point for you. Could you tell us a bit about that experience?
I've got a school friend, who's a couple of years ahead of me, and he was an ophthalmology trainee and was really enjoying it. And they went up to Burma on an outreach trip, and I went up with them. And that's when I realised that actually it's a very busy job. There's lots of good work being done. And not only can you do it in your hometown, but you can do it just about anywhere these days, and there's a big need for it. So that's when it first occurred to me that it could be a good job.
What do you see as the benefits of a regional practice as opposed to a metro setting?
I've always been in regional New South Wales. I grew up in Lismore, so it's obviously not in the big city. It's almost on the coast, but it's a town around the same size as Orange, about 40 or 50,000 people. Although I've spent a lot of time in the city as well, but when it came to actually setting up my own practice and raising my own family, we were keen to do that outside of the big city.
So why do you prefer living and working in regional New South Wales? Tell us about it.
Well, I think there's a lot of work opportunity. That's the first thing. So it was very appealing in that sense to get started quickly and the opportunity to be busy and to do lots of interesting work. And also, I guess, to take that to a population where there was a lot of need as well. But from a family perspective, it's an easy place to raise a family, I guess. You can still be doing all that busy work, but within 5 minutes of finishing, you can be down picking up the kids or taking them to sport. And that's important to me because I've got 4 little kids that I want to be as involved as I can in what they're doing.
4, that must be busy. But isn't it fantastic that you've found a regional lifestyle that works so well for you all? Now, can you describe your journey to ophthalmology for us? How did you go about becoming qualified and finding your position where you are now?
Well, there aren't a lot of training places in ophthalmology, so once you've decided you're interested, you've got to get about picking up the skills and experiences as best you can. So when I was a junior doctor out here actually in Orange, I sort of got to know the local ophthalmologists and spent some time with them. And then it became apparent to me that to get onto the formal training, you've got to go back to the city. So I set about looking for positions in the city, and there were positions advertised in all the capital cities and some outside as well. But I applied for one in Melbourne and I got that role in my sort of 3rd year out of university. And then from there, I applied for an accredited training position in Melbourne and I got it. And so I stayed there for another 6 years, Jeff. And then after I finished that, we went to the UK for a year to live and do a bit more training. And then obviously after that, you've got to look for a place to set up. And it was pretty appealing for us to come back to where we started actually in Orange. And we've got some family connections around here as well. So that was helpful with lots of small children.
Do you think working in the country that you have more of an opportunity for a wider variety of work?
I think so. And there just aren't many ophthalmologists in this part of the state, I guess. So it seems to drop off quite quickly once you get west of the Blue Mountains. And like I said, you're quite busy early on. And the work that you're interested in, there's quite a bit of it. And you've also got to be prepared to do other work, I guess. But on balance, I think it's a pretty appealing prospect for doctors starting out to be pretty much as busy as you can manage and to be able to choose the type of work that you want to do, so long as you're prepared to do some of the other work as well.
Do you get more of an interaction with the patients than you would in the city?
I think you get to know them probably better. I mean, they sort of stay with you for the most part for their lives and for your career. And whilst I've only been here for 4 years, it sort of tends to be that if you look after one person and you do your best, other members of the family come. Like my wife is from Forbes, and so I've got a practice out there, and you get to know one sort of group of patients and then other people that they know come along. And if you're good to the people that send you the patients, it becomes a bit of a repeating sort of thing, I guess. So whereas I don't know if you'd have that in the city because like a lot of people in those small towns, they do all know each other. So there's a definite sort of getting to know people and everybody knowing each other.
Do you have any advice for students who are just starting out and who might be considering ophthalmology?
Well, I mean, I think it's obviously a very interesting and a part of medicine where there's a lot of work to be done. There's a huge need for it with the ageing population. I think there's a perception that it's hard to get into. There aren't many training places, but that could be said for many disciplines. And I think the bottom line is if you're interested in something and you want to do it, you've just got to keep persevering, and eventually almost everybody that wants to get in does so if they're committed to it. And that's what really matters at the end of the day is that you just keep getting the experiences that are going to help you be a better doctor. And if that's in one discipline like ophthalmology, well, over a few years, if that's what you want to do, you can build up quite a bit of experience that does make you an appealing training prospect, I suppose. So keep at it.
Dr. Jeremy Curtin, specialist ophthalmologist based in Orange, but working across the New South Wales Central West.
Regional training hubs are supported by funding from the Australian Government under the Rural Health Multidisciplinary Training Program.